What's going on? Welcome back to Mind Your Hormones. I am really excited to have this conversation with you because this is a question that I get a lot. And this is something that I used to think and that trips so many people up. And what we're talking about is the idea of looking at the body in isolation, trying to manipulate one specific hormone. And newsflash, spoiler alert, that ain't how your body works. That shit doesn't work. Okay. So what I'm talking about is the question that I got on Instagram because I put up a question box and I asked, like, hey, what are some questions you have for the podcast or specific topics you want me to dive deeper into? Because at the time of this recording, I am just about 38 weeks pregnant. So I am recording a ton of episodes right now because I want to make sure that I'm like covered for at least 6 weeks after the birth. So I don't have to actively record, but so you're still getting episodes. So I'm like, give me some ideas because I have to batch record so many episodes. So one of the questions that Stephanie asked was, how do you raise progesterone levels and lower estrogen levels? And I was like, I'm so glad someone asked this because I used to think the same thing. And what I want for you to get out of this episode is get your mindset right about what actually is going on in your body and to zoom out instead of hyper focusing on one specific hormone, because that's not how your body actually works. When we're asking the question, like I used to also, okay, my progesterone level is low on blood work and my estrogen levels were high. So how do I raise my progesterone and how do I lower estrogen? It makes sense if you like look at blood work and you're thinking about it like that, but that is trying to manipulate one specific hormone. That is looking at the body and your hormones as separate from each other and completely disconnected from everything else in your body. And every single thing in your body is connected. All of your hormones are connected. All of your organs are connected. Literally, one thing that you do or don't do affects everything else in your body. So we have to get into that mindset of it's not just about this one specific hormone. So when you focus on one hormone level, you're zoomed in too far and you're missing the bigger picture. We need to uncover, why is your progesterone level low and why is your estrogen too high in relationship to that progesterone? Because progesterone and estrogen work together like yin and yang. So if you have low progesterone levels, even if your estrogen doesn't show up high on blood work, you could still be presenting with some excess estrogen symptoms like migraines, like heavy bleeding or clots or cramps, breast tenderness, stuff like that, because it's too high in relationship to your progesterone. So we need to uncover, okay, well, why are my progesterone levels low? And the reason why your progesterone levels low are twofold. It's either because you are not ovulating or you're ovulating, but you're not making proper lifestyle changes in your luteal phase. That is why. Point blank, that's the reason why. So it's not about raising your progesterone level. It's about what we need to focus on is, why are we not ovulating? We need to make sure that we are ovulating. And if you are in fact confirming ovulation, okay, then we have to focus on supporting your body after ovulation in your luteal phase, which always goes back to the things that I am constantly talking about. The 5 principles, the 5 modules of the Mind Your Hormones method, the 5 root causes of all hormonal imbalances: balancing out your blood sugar, regulating your nervous system, reducing your inflammation and supporting your gut health, optimizing your liver detoxification, and increasing nutrient density. That is the formula. I need this to be ingrained in your head because for so many years, when I wasn't getting a period, when my period was completely irregular, when I had migraines, when I had body rashes, I was looking at all of this as separate from itself. I was trying to manipulate certain things. Okay, how do I get rid of my migraines? Okay, how do I get rid of these rashes? How do I raise my progesterone levels? How do I get my period back? How do I do all these things? And it's like, it's just looking at the surface of it instead of looking at uncovering, where is all of this coming from? Why are these things in my body off? And it's because of one or all of these reasons. Your body usually starts off with one of these root causes, whether it's dysregulated blood sugar, dysregulated nervous system, inflammation, your liver is detoxing properly, or you have nutrient deficiencies. It usually starts off with like 1, maybe 2 of those. But because for so long, it's usually months, most of the time years, when my clients come to me that they've been dealing with imbalances and not realizing that this stuff is actually happening, it usually is a combination of all of these, because again, one thing affects the other. So if your blood sugar is dysregulated, it's going to cause more inflammation in our body. It's going to cause your nervous system is then going to get out of whack. If your gut is off from inflammation, you're not going to be able to properly absorb nutrients. Then your nutrient density is going to be off. So everything is all connected. but that is the formula. So when those 5 areas are off, it's like you're swimming against the current. So I want you to zoom out at the big picture, and instead of focusing, and whether for you, you're listening to this and maybe it's you actually have low estrogen and you want to raise your estrogen, or your testosterone is high or low, or your LH is off, or your FSH is off, like whatever it is. I recently did an episode about trying to, spot treat, and I'll link that below. But the whole point of this episode is for me to ingrain in your head that I want you to uncover what's actually happening. Your hormones are not disconnected from each other. Every single thing is connected. So instead of taking all your time and energy and focusing on, okay, I just got to focus on my progesterone levels, let's focus on balancing your blood sugar, which I have a whole free training on that. It's actually a training I pulled straight from the Mind Your Hormones method. The first module in the Mind Your Hormones method is all about balancing your blood sugar. It's also the longest module with the most trainings because that's how important it is and how in depth you can go with it. So I pulled one of them of how to create a hormone balanced meal. Start with that. I go through a smoothie tutorial for you. Like, it's super, super in depth. It's literally from a course that people pay for. So that shit is fire. So I will put that in the show notes for you, completely free for you to download it. So focus on that. Focus on balancing your blood sugar. Focus on doing that, just getting that one step down, and then we move on to the next, which is regulating your nervous system. Okay, are we doing some meditations? What does your nervous system feel like? Or you feel like you're leaning on caffeine all the time? Like, you feel like you're always in fight or flight mode? Let's take a look at that. Are we over exercising? Okay, then we work on inflammation levels. How can I incorporate more anti-inflammatory foods like dark leafy greens and healthy fats, and reducing more inflammatory foods like dairy and sugar and gluten and stuff like that? Okay, my liver, how can I optimize that? Can I have more beans to support my liver? Can I get rid of all of these toxins that my liver has to process? Like, nutrient density. Do we have proper supplementation? I have a whole training on supplements as well. I talk about specific brands that I love, like Needed and Gut Personal, all the time on the show. And obviously, you're not going to do all these things at once. This is why in the Mind Your Hormones method, it's step by step by step, and you don't get all the information at once, because it isn't something that's going to be healed overnight, because this has probably been going on for months or years. It takes on average my clients about 3 months to start ovulating again, 3 months to get their period back, 3 months to start seeing like, wow, this is like, holy shit, I can't believe this is healed this quickly. Because when you've been going so many years with whatever's going on, 3 months goes really fast, but it's not overnight, right? And that's obviously also when you are doing things that are actually targeting the root cause. Because another question that I got was, okay, about how long can it take for my hormones to balance out? And the answer is it completely depends on what you're actually doing to support your hormones. If, like I said, my clients that I work with, it's on average about 3 months from when they start the course to when they start seeing like, okay, their ovulation comes back, their period comes back, stuff like that. So it completely depends on if you are actually doing things that are going to make a difference and move the needle forward, or if you're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, like I did for so long, which is why it took me literally years to get my period back. So it completely depends. But what I want you to leave this episode with is, if you are currently really fixated on one hormone, how can you zoom out and how can you really understand that manipulating one hormone is not the answer? It's seeing the body and your hormones as completely connected. Every single thing in your body is connected. So how can we focus on these 5 major root causes and just start with balancing your blood sugar? Because again, when you improve one thing, everything else improves. That is what is so freaking amazing, that yes, there's so many different steps that you could do to help support yourself. But even doing one step of having a hormone balanced breakfast, having hormone balanced meals with that are balancing your blood sugar, like I teach you in that free training that I'm going to put below, that one thing is also going to support your inflammation levels. It's also going to support your nervous system. It's also going to support your liver. It's going to support everything, because everything in your body is connected. It is a positive domino effect. Just like we could have a negative domino effect, we could have a positive domino effect. Okay. So we don't want to know, okay, let me raise my progesterone, let me lower my estrogen. We want to uncover, why is this hormone off? How can I go back to the 5 principles of my blood sugar, my nervous system, my inflammation, my liver, my nutrient density? Like, I feel like I sound like a broken record, but that's because it's so freaking important. And I just had to hop on here and answer this question, because I know this tripped me up for so long when I was trying to heal things. I know it might be tripping up some of you, especially if you're getting blood work done. And I just want you to remember to uncover the reason why things are off. And it's always going to go back to those 5 principles that I just really said 700 times that I hope is just ingrained in your brain, because that's how important it is. So zoom out, look at the big picture. Remember, every single thing in your body is connected, which is such a great thing, because when you make one positive change, it impacts every single area of your life. So you could look at things like, oh my God, it's a negative domino effect. Or you could look at it like, wow, I make one positive change and it's positively impacting everything in my body. And that's how I want you to look at it. Okay. So today was just a little like sassy pep talk kind of episode. I don't have action steps for you. It's not super sciencey. It's just really helping you understand what's actually going on in your body, and to stop thinking that we can just manipulate one hormone at a time. That's not how our body works. So I hope this resonated with you. Please let me know what's going on in your world. I always love hearing from you. Make sure you check out that free training in the show notes. It's going to help you so much. Again, one positive change makes a world of a difference. So I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.